Welcome to the channel. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I'm going to start off this review today with a wrist shot. What am I currently wearing? This is my latest acquisition. I absolutely love this watch. Ordered this from Japan about a month and a half ago. The Seiko Baby Tuna Frost limited edition. I believe it's limited or it could be special, but absolutely love this watch. Right, to the review. So join me today. We are going to be reviewing the AddiesDive My H9 dive watch. Recently done an unboxing on this. Got this from AliExpress. Yes, the sale is due soon, so I will link the store and the watch in the description below. Make sure you guys check it out if you indeed after this review decide you want to buy this watch. Also remember to hit the subscribe button. Remember to hit the notification bell so you're up to date with all the latest reviews. I have a bunch of watches due in, so make sure you guys stay tuned. So we've done the unboxing, no need for the box then. Let's put this away. Let's get straight down to it. So let's get all the numbers out the way, the specifications, dimensions, etc. So this watch is going to set you back around £92 and around $126. This is the only variant available. They do have a few different strap options. Now, so far so good. So if you go to the store which I bought this from, they've had 17 orders to date, all 5 stars. So this watch is proving to be quite a popular watch, and you know, it's got good rating behind it as well. So I'm very intrigued to look at this watch, review it fully and see how good it really is. Now let's look at some specifications. So you do have a ceramic bezel insert, 120 click unidirectional bezel. You've got a 316L stainless steel case, bracelet, clasp. So the movement used on the watch is the Seiko Epson NH35 movement with hack and wind functionality, with a date complication, a beat rate of 21,600 vibrations per hour, giving you a sweep of 6 ticks per second. Very robust, very efficient and economic movement indeed. Here we got a diamond selector tool. I mean, I use this on most of the watches anyway, but this is what I'm just showing on video, so you can clearly tell the watch is sapphire. Now let's go back to dimensions. So the dimension on this watch is a 40mm case diameter. You've got a 15mm thick case, of course including case back and this lovely domed crystal, and we're looking at a lug to lug of 45.5mm. Now the lug to lug is really nice. It's got great proportions, but what I am preempting is when we look at the bracelet, the end links, they do protrude quite a bit, and you've got male links, so they do come out. So if we include the male links on the end links, it gives you a total lug to lug of 43.5, which is quite long. You've got a 20mm lug width. The overall weight of the watch is 163 grams with all links present. As you can see, the bracelet is pretty large, and you know, you've got plenty of links there, so you can resize it. The bracelet itself does taper down from 20mm to 18mm, a very slight taper, and we've got a water resistance rating of 200 meters allegedly. Now, speculation, people think AddiesDive is a sister company of SteelDive. What is the more plausible explanation is the fact that they are subcontracting SteelDive. You know, the logos are very similar, the models are more or less exactly the same, with the exception of this one. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing more to it than that. SteelDive will make watches for you. I think they've got that Kin factory, so that is absolutely possible. Now, a subscriber, let's talk about the design quickly. A subscriber brought this out to me. Thank you very much, and it's good having a well-informed subscriber base. That this watch is actually homaging a Vea dive watch. Now Vea is a micro brand. They've recently released a watch which has very similar looks. Now we shouldn't be surprised, should we? The thing is, a lot of these micro brands do use China as their manufacturing places. So that being said, it's very plausible that you know, they probably sold on the design, or they had AddiesDive commissioned them, whoever commissioned them, to make the same case. I'm a fussed, not really. I'm looking at homage watches. What do I care? And you know, they copy everything, right? So I've addressed that just in case I forget about it later on. Let's have a closer look at this dial. Now, this watch, in fact, has a very vintage dive watch appeal. You know, looking at the lack of crown guards, you know, the dimensions, this gorgeous domed crystal. So, but what they have done, they've given us a pilot style dial. So you've got vintage lume on the dial. So you've got numbers that go all around the dial, and the minute track is broken up by the yellow square rectangular markers every hour, and in between that you've got the white minute track printed. You've also got a printed AddiesDive logo in this gold lettering, automatic 200 meters at the bottom. You've got a white seconds hand, and you've got Phylida pilot style sword hands in bronze with the vintage lume. So yeah, the hands, the color kind of matches the logo, but you've got the yellow, which is the actual numbers around the dial, and those yellow markers. You've also got a date window at 3 o'clock, and you do have this textured dial, and I refer to this texture like this tarmac style of dial because that's exactly what it looks like. So there we go. The bezel insert is indeed ceramic. We're going to have a look later on if it is lumed or not. And the bezel insert, it's nice, it's done well, you know, you can't complain, it fits nicely. But one of the key features of this watch, and I pointed this out in the unboxing, why I absolutely love, is the actual shape. Just have a look at that. It's like a UFO almost, but I think the curves of the case, how it goes along the lugs, the way the bezel sits, and the way that crystal, that lovely dome, that immediately stood out to me. You can see just like a thin lip on the bezel. A very vintage looking watch. It's got, I think that's one of the most appealing things about this watch, and this is what may cause quite a lot of people to buy this. Just look at the shape of the case, the way the lugs come down. I think that's absolutely gorgeous. Wow. So looking at the crystal we're talking about, as you can see, it is a domed crystal with lots of AR coating. In fact, yes, it is going to be slightly obstructive. There is just a lot of it on. And now looking at the bezel itself, as I showed you, it does have a thin edge. You've got scallops around the edge. It's a brushed bezel. Let's take a look at the rotation and let's have a listen. So there's a touch, you know, a fraction of a millimeter misalignment, but I think that's okay because the actual marker above the 12 is just a bit thicker, so it actually looks perfectly aligned. Very impressed with the bezel. I gotta say that is a very nice bezel action, as you can probably hear, and you can see positive clicks, individual clicks, no double click business going on here. It rotates really well, and the grip, because you've got this thin edge, it grips really well. Very solid bezel, no play in the bezel at all, definitely no back play. And you know, at this price range we do see poor bezels, and you know, we kind of say, yeah, what do you expect with the money? So it becomes something which we expect and which we're actually okay with. But you know, AddiesDive, with this case in particular, it's a very, very nice bezel. I'm very impressed. So far, two things have really impressed me: the case shape, including the dome crystal, and of course that bezels. So functionality so far so good. Here we have the lume shot for the AddiesDive My H9. Now this is vintage lume, and you know, generally what I've found, that vintage lume isn't that good. Having said that, this is probably the nicest vintage lume I've seen. It's been applied very evenly. You can see the bezel is also illuminated, the dial is illuminated, the hands, the hour and the minute is lumed. So I think that's really good. And look at that. I mean, this has not been, I've not UV blasted this, just used normal LED lighting. And you know what, that is very good. I'm actually very impressed. I'll give this, you know, the lume on this quite a high rating. You know, longevity, it's going to be so-so because it's not see-through super luminova. Let's go around the case. So what you can see now, obviously I call this an Aquaterra-esque style case. Of course, it's not asymmetrical. However, these are quite distinct, the way these lugs are done, almost like wings. And I do like this design. I do like the little chamfering here. Now, what you normally find is a bit of polishing, but this is a fully brushed case to give you that tool watch appeal, fully linear brushing across the side, and that lovely case shape, the way the lug tips curve down. And you've got a chamfer here. So that lug shape follows the watch all the way around, and you also got a nice indentation here for the crown, so it fits in snugly. Case back, let's have a look. You've got the AddiesDive logo, which is actually a dive mask with those spear guns and some stars, and you've got a bit of text around, just basically stating the specifications of the watch. So yeah, I love the case shape, and it's very smooth. It's been finished really well. Let's check the crown out. The crown itself is a very nicely finished crown, some decent machining, and you've got some circular brushing, give you this hologram effect on the end. Yeah, good grip. The screw action, the function, crown is flawless, perfect. Can't really say anything about that at all. So all in all, you know, very positive, apart from a few glaring design issues. Now let's go ahead, look at the bracelet. Now the bracelet, yes, it's probably going to be the down part of this watch. For the most part, it's okay, right? So solid links all throughout the bracelet, solid end links. Yes, we've got polished center links, which, you know, going by the reviews and subscribers, I mean, personally as well, I'm not a fan of these polished center links. You know, you're going to spend more time cleaning them. So, you know, there's a few videos on how to brush them out. Basically, you just want to use some Scotch-Brite and get to work on these links if you want to change it out. So, yeah, I think the structure of the bracelet's there. Solid end links, solid links, etc. It's got split pins, which I don't mind at all. I prefer them over that collar system, which is absolutely ridiculous. But we get to the clasp. We've got a stamped clasp. Now, this is replaceable from AliExpress. I'll see if we can link it in the description. The clasp will set you back £3 to £4. It's always worth getting, you know, a few in hand, especially if you go for these type of this kind of size of watch. So 18mm clasp, standard flip lock, and I mean it's okay, right? It is comfortable, it's not uncomfortable. But the bracelet itself, there's some edginess present on the inside, so you might get some wrist irritation from that. It's not sharp or anything, but that is present. Now this watch, a few people have said they prefer it on leather. I don't have any decent leather straps at 20mm, so I'm not going to bother replacing it. But yeah, a strap change would definitely help, but I think it might look odd because of the way the lugs are. You know, in this style, I do prefer a bracelet to sit in because it kind of sinks in. Now, I mentioned the male links on the end link. Now, they do come out quite a bit. If you look at that, I fold back the link, that is protruding quite a bit. So maybe they need to look at a bracelet with a female link there, so it just allows for better articulation. And on that note, let's try the watch on. Now, I've got to take this bad boy off, but I have to give another look at that. Look at that dial, guys. So put the baby tuner down. Now, I haven't sized this, truth be told, I can't be bothered, so I'll just show you guys on the wrist. Okay, so I think any smaller than 6.5 inches, you might have trouble with the end links, right? I think for me though, because the case does kind of curve slightly, it fits in line with the wrist. So 6.5 inches, as I mentioned, that's my wrist size, and it's got a very decent fit. And I think it's in the just right category. Again, off the back of a pole, I think the 40mm size is the preferred case size. So it does fit really nice. And do I think it's a good watch? You know, let's summarize. I think yes, it is a good watch. But I'll tell you what it's better as. I think this is going to make a cracking cracking base for a mod. Now there's more and more people getting into modding. Now of course this runs the NH35 movement, so more than likely the dial is 28.5 millimeters. So I'm thinking I might actually modify this dial, modify this watch, sorry, and change the hands, because for me this is the problem with this watch. It's a bit confused. You know, you've got a vintage dive watch case, vintage dive watch appeal. I love the crystal, that gorgeous shape. I just keep coming back to that. That is very nice to look at again. You know, including the bezel, but then you've got his Phylida field watch style of dial. Yeah, so I think, you know, it does appeal to people. I think quite a lot of people might be willing to live through that, just because overall the watch case is overall it's a very good watch. It is definitely, and we're looking at what, $120, so definitely a very good watch. I mean, it's much better than Pagani, just because the bezel's so good. So anything in this competition is slightly above that. But yeah, the biggest thing is the actual design aesthetics don't really seem to match. On the face of it, you know, it does look pretty much, it looks okay, I suppose. But I know that is what people are going to really struggle with. So that's my summary on this watch. Hope you guys like the review. Remember to check the links in the description. If you do want to make the purchase, go ahead, check out AliExpress. And like always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next.